She's burning billions just to rattle Taiwan. Warplanes, warships, endless drills across the Pacific as Beijing vows peaceful reunification, yet warns force is always an option. US senators land in Taipei, defying Beijing's threats. A storm builds in the strait. Is Taiwan the next flashpoint for global war? China spent an estimated $21 billion on military exercises in 2024, targeting waters around Taiwan and the Greater Western Pacific. According to internal research by Taiwan's armed forces, reviewed by Reuters, this marks a nearly 40% increase from the previous year. The steep rise in spending highlights Beijing's ongoing expansion of its military drills and deployments in the region. The Taiwanese estimate is based on surveillance of Chinese aircraft and ships, with costs calculated for fuel, maintenance, and related expenses. Officials briefed on the research said the exercises accounted for roughly 9% of China's reported 2024 defense budget, up from 7% in 2023. Analysts cautioned that the methodology includes some assumptions, but noted the approach is credible. According to the report, Chinese aircraft, including fighter jets, bombers and drones, flew close to 12,000 sorties last year, amounting to about 37,000 hours in the air. Naval operations were equally extensive, with more than 86,000 sailings that together logged over 2 million hours at sea. About a third of those missions were in the South China Sea, with additional activity in the East China Sea and the Taiwan Strait. Taiwan's defense ministry said in a statement to Reuters that China's ongoing military expansion and what it described as grey zone provocations are undermining peace and stability in the Indo-Pacific region.
China's ongoing military expansion and grey zone provocations are severely undermining peace and stability in the Indo-Pacific region.
The report also noted China's forces have been extending their reach beyond Asia, from anti-piracy patrols off Somalia to increased naval movements in the northern Pacific. China has signaled it remains open to peaceful reunification with Taiwan, while reiterating that force remains an option if necessary. Speaking in Beijing, State Council Taiwan Affairs Office spokeswoman Zhu Fenglian said the mainland is prepared to create ample space for reconciliation, but will not renounce the possibility of taking necessary measures.
We are willing to create ample space for peaceful reunification and will strive with utmost sincerity and effort to achieve this prospect. However, we will never renounce the use of force and reserve the option to take all necessary measures.
Zhu's comments followed questions about growing cross-strait tensions, including concerns from Taiwan media that miscalculations or accidental escalations could trigger conflict. Zhu said Beijing's policy remains consistent, describing peaceful reunification under the one country, two systems framework as the most beneficial solution for both sides of the Taiwan Strait.
Peaceful reunification and one country, two systems is our fundamental policy for resolving the Taiwan question and the best approach to achieving national reunification. We are willing to create ample space for peaceful reunification and will strive with utmost sincerity and effort to achieve it. However, we will never renounce the use of force and reserve the option to take all necessary measures.
Zhu criticized Taiwan's Democratic Progressive Party for what she called a refusal to acknowledge the 1992 consensus and for its close alignment with external powers. According to Zhu, these actions amount to secessionist efforts that undermine regional stability and harm the interests of people in Taiwan. She argued that the current instability across the strait is fundamentally the result of Taipei's policies, not Beijing's. On defense matters, Zhu said China's military budget is increasing at a steady and reasonable pace, tied to the broader goal of modernizing the armed forces alongside national development. She also accused the United States of treating Taiwan as a pawn to contain the mainland, pointing to Washington's military cooperation with Taipei, including Taiwanese participation in recent Northern Strike exercises. Zhu said the mainland hopes Taiwanese society will join in upholding the One China principle and work toward peace and stability. She emphasized that the historical process of reunification is unstoppable, adding that Taiwan's future should be determined by people on both sides of the strait. Two senior Republican senators have arrived in Taipei for talks on security at a time of heightened military pressure from China. Senator Roger Wicker, who chairs the Senate Armed Services Committee, and Senator Deb Fischer, also a member of the committee, are meeting with President William Lai Ching-te and other Taiwanese officials. Wicker told reporters their presence was intended to reinforce what he described as the long-standing partnership and security agreement between the United States and Taiwan. He added that the visit was meant to underscore Washington's friendship with the island and noted that provisions related to Taiwan would again be part of this year's National Defense Authorization Act. The nearly $1 trillion bill, scheduled for debate in the Senate next week, sets policy for US defense and includes measures that support Taipei. Senator Fischer said ahead of the trip that she was eager to see how the United States could strengthen its posture in the region in order to safeguard American interests and those of its allies. The visit comes despite objections from Beijing. Chinese officials had urged Wicker and other lawmakers to cancel their plans, reiterating that Beijing regards Taiwan as its own territory. China has stepped up military activity around the island in recent years and has not ruled out the use of force. Washington, which remains Taiwan's principal source of arms and international backing despite the absence of formal diplomatic ties, has continued to expand its presence in the Pacific, including new supply facilities in Palau and Australia.